Have you ever tried a test to see what year is a leap year? Like 2000, is that a leap year? 2024, would that be a leap year? How do you tell what year is a leap year? Most people, and I'm assuming you one of them, already know if you can divide it by four, it's most likely a leap year. Most people actually think it is a leap year if you can divide it by four. But there's a little more to it. I mean, if you live up to 100 years, for example, maybe 400 years, just kidding. Yeah, no one is living up to 400 years. But there's a difference when you start considering those factors. So the rule actually is if it's divisible by four, then it's possibly a leap year, right? But if it's not, then it's definitely not a leap year. The second part to that rule is if it's divisible by four, but divisible by 100, it's most likely not a leap year, right? That's interesting. Follow through here. So if it's divisible by four and 100 as well, it has to be divisible by 400 for it to be a leap year. But if it's divisible by four and it's not divisible by 100, then it's definitely a leap year. All right. So, quite some fun stuff. All right. So, let's say we're trying to make a calculator that would help us do all this interesting work in our minds of pretty much is it divisible by 400, things like that. Pretty much to tell us if a year is a leap year or not. So, we don't have to keep doing it. We just put 2000 year 2023, year 2053, something like that. Or even the past year, 1642, to see if it's a leap year. We pretty much just put in the calculator we're about to make, and then it's going to tell if it's a leap year or not. And I have my phone going off, and I have the lawnmower going off. All of them want to know if it's really a leap year. Just kidding. All right, this is how we're going to do it. Once again, we're just using the console on Chrome for ease. All right, let's check this out. So I've gone ahead and created a file here called leapyearcalculator.js. And if you already saw the video on the love calculator, you should be familiar with this. I'm just using a Chrome tab and sources. So this is more like a quick work just for you to see how it's done. Of course, if you were making a website, you would be doing this with a different file, integrating it with your HTML file or PHP, whichever one you're using. All right, so let's get to it. So I'm just gonna I like to make a habit of commenting it, and I'll call it the leap year calculator, right? Calculator. All right, so to do this, it's going to be easy. First of all, let's start by prompt. I like to do a prompt because this is just the concept of making it fun. Like you're giving the computer is asking you, what year will you like to know if it's a leap year or not, right? So something like this is going to be the prompt it's giving you. And of course, I like to store it as a variable. And let's make a variable called year, right? So year prompt would be, what year would you like to know if it's a leap year or not? All right, so this once again is just the interaction with you and the computer here. Now, the key thing we want to know is how to go about the calculation. All right, so we want to divide by either 400 or 400 to see if it's going to give us a leap year. All right, remember the flowchart I just showed you. If it's divided by 4 and it doesn't give you 0 when you divide it by 4, then it's not a leap year, right? So we want to start from those conditions in there and just build things using an if-else statement. Once again, this is the power of your if and else statement. So let's create a function. So just make life easy, and I'm going to call the function is leap. Yeah, and then I'm going to put year. Right, so that's how it would have been normally if you would if you need to the function where you could put an input in there, so for console. But for now, I'm just gonna leave that empty. So I'm just gonna leave the function empty. So the prompt we use is what we'll use for the calculation here. All right, so function is leap. The question is, What should we do? Yeah, we already defined year as a variable. So the question now will be if, or rather the condition. The first condition we would have is if, let's say year, and I'm going to put year divided with a full remainder, right? So this actually is an operator that says if you divide by this number, it's going to give you a remainder, right? So if you do 2 divided by 2, the remainder will be 0. If you do 3 divided by 2, the remainder will be 1. So with the percentage sign here, it gives you 1 if you do 3 divided by 1. So pretty much what we want is divide by 4. If we divide by 4, the remainder should be 0, right? And 0. So the first condition we're trying to see here is if it's divided by 4, if there's no remainder, then it's possibly a leap year, right? So that's the first condition we have here. Now, if that's not the case, it's not a leap year for sure, right? Because if you divide by 4 and it's not 0, meaning it has a remainder, like 1953 divided by 4 is definitely not giving you 0. So if that's the case, sorry buddy. And it's not a leap year, right? Something like that. Actually, let's just use a return. So just gonna, since I'm in the function, so return sorry buddy, and I'm gonna put the quotation there. Actually, just put my string in there. So I'll return sorry buddy, it's not a leap year, right? So that's one condition. Then the other possible condition, because now we've already said divided by 4, is it possible? If yes, then we would put new condition. If no, then we already know we don't have to worry about it. It's not a leap year. So we go back into this if statement here, and we put another if statement, right? Same condition. Now we've already tested for it to come into this, for it to take this step, that means it's already verified that when you divide by 4, it's 0, so it's divisible by 4. So the next step now is to see if our variable year is divisible. I mean, if it's divided by 100, does it give us 0? Right? Same thing again. Does it give us 0? Right? If it gives us 0, we will do. Remember, if it gives us 0, then it's possibly not always a leap year, right? We're not sure until we do another test. But one thing we should know for sure is this: if it is not 0, right? If it has a remainder, then it is a leap year, right? So once again, if you divide by 4 and it's 0, and you divide by 100 and it's not 0, then it's definitely a leap year. So what should we say? Say return leap. Hooray! This is a leap year, right? Something like that. All right, so now we know that would give us a leap year. So we still have one more condition to test though, which is just to go in and say, all right, one last if statement, put in there, and we say, if the year, we divide it by 400 this time. If you divide by 400, if it's 0, that would give you a leap year, right? Because remember, that would mean it fits the condition of being divided by 4 to give 0, 100. It gives 0, 400 divided by 400, and it gives you 0. So this fits all the conditions for it to be a leap year, right? So in this case, once again, we wanted to return leap. Well, it's a leap year, right? Oh, I can just say leap again because I kind of like it. leap. All right, I'm changing the capitalization here, and who knows, you get the gist of it. This is definitely a leap year, right? Something like that. All right, so we do have that, and the last part, if you want to include, would be else, right? Because the other condition would be that you divide it by 100 and it's divisible, but when you divide it by 400, it's not, which would mean it's not a leap year, right? Almost got me. This is not a leap year. Okay, and we want that returned. All right, so let's see. I think we have everything the way it should be. Function if years divided by 4 and it gives you 0. Check to see if it's divided by 100 if it gives you 0. And then if it's divided by 400 and it gives you 0, then definitely it's a leap year. And saying if you check divide by 4 and it's not 0, then it's not a leap year. But if it's 0 and then you test it by 100 and it's not 0, then it's a leap year, right? So this is all we actually need in terms of the actual calculator to tell us if it's a leap year or not. So we definitely want an alert from the computer just telling us if what we did is correct. So I'm just going to do a function. Actually, we already defined a function, so we just call it, the function is leap, and we'll just leave it at that because we already all right, so did that wrong. All right, so I think we should be good with this. Ask the computer and it should give us the correct answer if it's a leap year or not. Not missing anything. All right, let's give this a test run here and run this. All right, what year would you like to know if it's a leap year or not? Let's start with 2004. I think that should be a leap year, right? And leap, 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 hooray, this is a leap year. All right, let's try 93, right? Something we know is definitely not a leap year. Sorry, buddy, it's not a leap year. So let's try something that probably looks like it could be a leap year and it's not. What year could that be? Let's try 1960. Wait, what? Leap, leap, leap. Why am I saying 1960? It needs to be divided by 100. All right, so what number? What year? What year it looks like it's a leap year and it's not? That's what I want to think of right now. How about yeah, we're in 2021. Yeah, 3000, right? I wonder how we'll call that. 3000. Oh, there we go. Because right now, you almost got me. This is not a leap year. Because if you think about it, 3000 and you get 3000, in which no one would be here, right? So I don't know why I have to even think about that. No one currently here, who knows what the future holds. But pretty much, if you do that, 3000 divided by 4 would be 0. Divided by 100 will be 0 as well. But when you divide it by 400, it's not 0. So it's actually not a leap year. All right. Hopefully that helps you guys. And like I said, as always, if I find something fun, I would definitely put it up. All right. Have a wonderful one, guys. And I'll see you next time.